You're royally f***ed because AI agents are here to replace your family in 2025. But in all seriousness, I do want you to imagine for a second having an army of AI models that can do any task that is given to them. For example, last week we actually created an AI agent for our own agency that is streamlined for market research. So whenever we onboard clients, it takes all of the information that they give us and does very in-depth market research all over the internet. It uses a bunch of different AI tools to scrape different forums on websites like Reddit to kind of identify what the needs are for that particular person, just so we can help them with their marketing initiatives. And then from there, it'll basically scrape their competitor profiles, come up with content ideas, all of this stuff just without us having to do anything, pretty much. Here's the thing though that most people don't understand. AI agents have been around for a while. It's just now that they're, starting to catch mainstream. A lot of people are kind of waking up to what exactly it looks like to have an AI agent working in your business. And of course, the technology is just becoming more developed and it's a lot easier to actually build these agents. You have OpenAI in talks with the US government about implementing quote unquote super agents at like a PhD level intellect. You have no code tools where you can actually build these agents out for yourself, which we'll talk about in this video. The point is, it's becoming more and more relevant to be learning about AI agents, but if you're not someone who has a lot of tech experience or you just can't really wrap your head around it, this is the video for you. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down AI agents as simply as I possibly can for you guys, walking you through the back-end technology, how these things operate, what makes them different from usual tools that you see out there on the internet. But most importantly, you'll be leaving this video with a great foundational understanding of how these work and how you can potentially implement them into your business as well. Now, this is not a technical tutorial, so I'm not going to share screen, show you exactly step by step. That's coming in another video. But if you want a good grasp of how AI agents actually work, then keep watching. Now, the first thing that you need to understand about AI agents is something that 99% of people get completely wrong. AI agents are not the same as ChatGPT, automations, or even some of the chatbots that you see on the internet. AI agents are autonomous. Autonomous meaning they have the capability to make decisions and take actions on their own. It's more of a proactive state of being, not just sitting there like, with ChatGPT, Llama, or Claude, your basic LLMs. They don't have any ability to act on their own or act proactively. You have to give them a task and then they give you an input. So it's like, write me an email for this, and then they give you an output back. But there's really not anything more to it than that. And then you look at traditional software or automations, and things do happen automatically, but it requires some sort of step-by-step logic that's outlined by you beforehand. I guess the easiest example of this would be kind of a true-false condition. If you're managing a team, you have a content team, you have an editor, and you want to be notified whenever a video is ready for you to review, so you can give the editor feedback. Basic automation says, okay, when status is updated, trigger this automation, and then it uses conditional logic, like if the status is needs review, then send notification. If status is not needs review, don't send notification. So that's how most software works on kind of a very basic level. You're using a predetermined flow, predetermined logic in order to get the desired outcome. So if this information is helpful, then hit that subscribe button. And this is even the case with some conversational assistants that you'll see on websites. So typically they like to kind of position it as AI, but a lot of the time what's actually happening is, if this person says this, then respond like that. It's still not fully autonomous. It's not fully operating on its own, basically. You get the gist. Okay, so they're autonomous. They can do stuff on their own. They can think. What does that mean? What's the technology behind them, Zorro? Well, I'm glad you asked. Now, understanding how these things operate isn't just about sounding cool at your next family dinner. AI agents are primarily built out of 3 core technologies. And the first of those is the LLM. This is your large language model. You know what this is. If you don't, it's pretty basic. It's pretty easy to understand. A good example is OpenAI's ChatGPT or Anthropic's Claude or Meta's Llama model. It's your large language model. It's the brain of the operation. It's the AI that's kind of operating everything. So that's the first part. The second technology implemented into these agents is called RAG. This stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. And if you've played with Custom GPTs or anything where you've had to upload a PDF or a Google Doc, you can upload documents to a knowledge base. That's exactly what RAG is. Now, this allows your model to draw from specific context and use it inside of its generation. So a good example would be if you were running a restaurant and you had to hire a new cook. You brought in a cook off the street. He has no experience whatsoever, but you do have the golden cookbook or whatever that he can use as a reference. So you give him the cookbook, you say, hey, make this recipe, just use, the recipe that I have in there as reference, or use the image in there that I have as reference. And then he's able to go through the entire cookbook. He's able to find that recipe and just kind of use it as a reference. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect in terms of output. A lot of people try to use RAG for creative stuff, so like copywriting, and then they're mad when they can't get the results that they want. We'll talk about fine-tuning in another video. That's my big gripe with RAG. RAG is more so important for actually getting factual information correct, right? So what this looks like is if you have 200 pages of a document uploaded to your knowledge base and you ask a question about a certain company policy, or again, going back to that recipe, it's going to scan that entire 200 pages. This is chunk-based processing, but it's going to separate it into 4 separate chunks that are most relevant to the question that you asked, that it thinks best match the information, and it's going to use that in its output. So if you ask about a recipe about creme brulee, it's not going to give you a pizza recipe. It's going to find a creme brulee recipe and give that back to you. So that's how RAG works. Basically just the knowledge base of the AI model, stuff it can reference, information it can draw from, everything like that. Now, so far, these first two are no different than the way you've been using AI. A lot of GPT wrappers out there, or even custom GPTs or Claude projects where you have all these files uploaded, whatever. But the third and final part is the most important part, and this is the ability for agents to use tools. This is where the autonomous aspect comes in, because you have the LLM that's making the decision, you have the knowledge base where it's able to kind of draw that context, and then finally you give it the tools or the software necessary to actually execute actions on its own. So instead of following a predetermined flow, it's going to find the best way that it thinks it should go about executing that task. For example, you might want it to draft up content ideas for the week. And depending on the tools or software that you give it access to, it might use something like SERP API to scrape the web and find common questions that people or competitors in your niche are posting, or people are asking on the internet. So it's going to find a bunch of common questions and use those as potential content topics. And then maybe it has access to Notion or Airtable or wherever your content database is. It's able to add those itself. It might even go as far as, depending on how much you build it, it might go as far as actually creating the scripts themselves and going through an approval process with those scripts, the whole shebang, without you having to build a step-by-step automation or really do anything else. It just decides the best way to do it. And another great example of this is if you say, let's book in a meeting this week with John, it's going to check your calendar's availability. It's going to check John's calendar's availability. It's going to propose some times, draft up an email, and send that email to John, right? You don't have to build out this step-by-step automation. This is where the autonomous aspect comes into play. So now that you guys understand what's happening beneath the hood, there are some tools that you can actually use to start building out these agents yourself. And there's mainly 2 that I'm really, really fond of. Maybe you guys have some other ones that you're using yourselves. If you do have any recommendations, please drop them down in the comments below. Always looking for more tools. These are the ones I've personally got the most experience with, and personally, I've just seen them work really well. But of course, there's a new tool on the internet every day. So the first of these is Relevance AI. Now, if you're not very tech savvy, you're someone who doesn't really build automations very often, or you're not really sure how to go about using them, Relevance is a pretty good place to start. Now, that being said, because it is kind of a third-party wrapper in a way, it's technically long-term going to be a little more expensive. But that being said, it makes it incredibly easy to actually build out these AI agents. You have the AI agents themselves, you have all the tools that they can use, you have the knowledge bases that they can access, and they even have sub-agents. So you have like your main agent, let's just say it's your content scripter or your content manager. And then every day you want him to draft up some content, he might send it to a sub-agent that's solely focused on content ideation, that does all that market research stuff that I just ran you guys through. And then he might pass it on to a scripting agent that's fully focused on actually scripting. And then you have a QA sub-agent that's focused on QA. And finally, it's sent to the final agent, or like the main agent, where it can actually upload that stuff to your content database or whatever the case might be. So Relevance is a pretty cool tool. Of the 2, it's definitely the easiest. If you don't have any technical experience, you might struggle a little bit just because it's such a new technology and it's really hard for these things to kind of, I guess, get in the hands of people, or they haven't really found a way to really make it like super accessible, except for ChatGPT tasks maybe, but that's just a glorified to-do list app, honestly. Now, the second tool is called N8N. That's the letter N, the number 8, and then the letter N. So N8N, this one is by far the most customizable. It's definitely one of my favorite workflow tools. You can connect a bunch of different databases. You can connect a bunch of different custom tools. You can see it all on kind of of this visualized Miro style board where instead of just having a separate automation like you might have in Zapier or Make or whatever automation software you kind of have this big board where you can have separate workflows for different things, for different actions. So in that regard, I think it's a pretty, phenomenal tool. Definitely a lot more customizable, a lot more you can do with it. But that being said, there's a pretty sharp learning curve when it comes to learning NAN, especially if you don't have any experience or anything like that. That being said, that's where we build out most of our agents and everything like that. If you're looking for something super basic like a chatbot, I haven't used them in about a year or so, but I know in the past platforms like BotPress and VoiceFlow have been really good for actual chatbots, and they're very similar in the way that it's like connecting your knowledge base and everything like that. But I think these are more focused on conversational AI, so focusing on actually interacting with a customer that's visiting your website or customer support, that type of thing. I mean, it might have changed. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It might have changed since then. Maybe it's like broadly just all agents now, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is now. But these are always, safe bets. I have older videos going over VoiceFlow and everything like that, but those are a bit outdated. So maybe I need to put a new one out. So now you guys have a pretty good picture and some glimpse into why I think AI agents are the future. I've been thinking that for a while. Now they're really going mainstream, and I think it's doing the whole trend hopping thing. I think it's a pretty reliable path for you to follow. But one of the biggest things, guys, with AI, like I said, AI agents have been a thing for years, right? Companies have been implementing these things for the longest time, even not just on a customer facing level, but on an internal level. So if you really want to actually get ahead with AI, the most important thing is catching these trends before they start becoming trends, before all the AI gurus start talking about them, before everybody on the internet's talking about them and they're blowing up, because that's really the only way you can actually stay ahead in AI. So that being said, I do plan on releasing some more in-depth tutorials on the channel, like regarding the AI agents and stuff that we've built for ourselves and our clients as well. I'm sure you guys would love to see that. If there's anything in particular that you want to see, just let me know. But until then, I do want to tell you a little bit more about our school group. If you're someone who kind of just wants to skip the learning curve, you want things that are templatized, or you want to learn how to actually just build it yourself with a very straightforward step-by-step program, this is not a course, but we do have a community. It's $47 a month, going to be raising it to $67 a month at 100 members. Right now we're at around 60. So it's pretty new. It's mainly focused on B2B business owners. You will not be learning how to land clients, or you're not going to be learning about the business model. This is solely focused on the tech aspect. So if you're a business owner who wants to learn how to use these tools to actually build automations for your business and scale up your content production, scale up your sales using these AI agents, this is definitely the group for you. Everybody in there is highly vetted by me. They're all high quality people. So at the very least, I'm sure you'll get some great networking opportunities out of it. That being said though, no pressure. If you want to check that out, it's down in the first link in the description or first pinned comment down below. You can find the Systemized Creator School community. Otherwise, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like for the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see more content from me, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss another upload. And with that being said, I'll see you guys later.